Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I just recorded the whole thing and didn't realize that this wasn't that I didn't have the microphone plugged in. So I kind of just made my same point and you didn't hear a word of it. Troy A, Shadowing Tronics, taking part in the Art Soundoff challenge, or trying to, because so many things are just... Today has been... Well, actually it started last night with malfunctions. The webcam wouldn't work, so I couldn't record yesterday's Art Soundoff the night before. I tried using my tablet. It cut off about 12 minutes into the thing. I tried putting the webcam into my laptop. It wouldn't work. So I finally this morning just set up the stuff I do for my regular video stuff. I just did this whole diatribe about tools, when they work and when they don't work, and I didn't have the microphone plugged back in. It's a heck of a life, people. But like what I was saying, and you couldn't have heard, is that we don't really think about our tools until they don't work. Otherwise, we turn it on, we plug it in, we grab it, we use it, we do whatever it is we do with it, and then we put it away. We never think about our tools unless somebody asks us, what tools do you use for these projects, or somebody wants to borrow them, or if they break, which is probably the more often scenario. So it's kind of annoying. My webcam, something's wrong with it. So I may not be able to use it, and I can't replace it because right now I'm unemployed and I don't know how to set up a Patreon that people will actually want to support. I tried plugging in. I've been trying to go through a lot of my software that won't work over there. Hopefully it'll work here. Meanwhile, this has got a crack near the hinge, so I can't close the door. So it's not even a laptop anymore; it's just a little computer. And I got to reach over in order to like the keyboard, so I got to pull this keyboard out from here in order to do anything. It's just all a mess sometimes, you know. And it can be frustrating when your tools aren't working, or you have to jump through hoops to get them to work. At the same time, we try all these different tools. We get one that works right on this project or that project. Maybe it even works on most of your projects. Then you go use it for a certain project, and then it doesn't work, or it's not the right tool. So then you got to go dancing around trying to find tools again. It's a whole frustrating thing. Tools can be frustrating, but at the same time, they're kind of important because we couldn't do our work without them. So, for obvious reasons, this is what I'm thinking about right now. I'm trying to get tools to work, and it happens with analog tools. I got my analog tools back here. I use the Faber-Castell pet pens because they're usually really good. They give me the right amount of control versus being able to freely between control and looseness, I guess. I'll put that up later. Not been a good day. And then I was trying to do the other thing, and I got a phone call. That was an important phone call, so I had to take it. And at least it was good news. So that's some positive. It was the only good news I've had today. But I use a lot of different kinds of pens and pencils. Some people prefer using markers. I prefer using coloring pencils. I've tried using markers, and it just never really worked out for me. Coloring pencils have worked really well. They're like a good balance between markers and crayons. And now this thing's run out of power, and I've been having some issues trying to get the battery to recharge. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Oh, let me see if this works. Not really. Well, you can see me a little bit, but then this is technically an audio challenge, so it doesn't really matter if you see me. But tools are great when they work and annoying when they don't. I remember seeing Manga Studio some March. I think I was at Blex at the time, and back when they still actually had stuff for comic creators. They don't really have that anymore because nobody was really using them. So it was wasn't really a good purchase for them. I mean, you could get like Bristol board and the pens and stuff, but you couldn't get like the special already set up comic boards and various other things. Like did I get my comic book art kit from a comic store or Blex? No, and Michaels has never had it. Maybe you can find some how to make comics, reference books there, but you can't get the pre-set up comic boards anymore. And but I was at Blex and I got Manga Studio 4. I mean, I didn't have a drawing set up. Right now I got my Parblo A610. I got my stylus. It's been working well for me so far. But before that, I couldn't do any digital drawing. I wanted a program that I thought would do better for the other stuff, for the lettering and the coloring and everything. So I got Manga Studio 4, and it wasn't really set up well for coloring. Manga Studio 5, that I'm pretty sure I got online, got better. You could actually set up so its default would make it so you could color. But they decided to put the pagination process on the EX version, the more expensive version. And that one feature, while nice, really isn't worth buying to me, isn't worth the extra price. Meanwhile, they upgraded that to Clip Studio Paint for some reason. And I don't know why they called it that now, but I can run that on here, but I can't use the 3D modeling assets. Things go a little wrong, and there was a point where the whole asset system itself wouldn't work. So, just in case, I have the latest version of Manga Studio 5 and Clip Studio Paint on here so that I can do what I need to do in my various comic projects. It's a bit annoying. But, I use the 3D model so sparingly anyway that I don't miss it too much, but it would be nice to be able to have that feature when I need it. But this laptop runs XP, not Vista, and then I can't even use their own model creator because that requires at least Windows 7. So sometimes you can find the right tool, but it won't work in a certain location or with your other tools. And the advancements that we've made have really done a good job for creating art. I mean, I love, and this is why I wanted to use computer drawing, computer coloring, is that I can do so many cool things that I've never been able to do analog, especially when it comes to things like energy footage. Like I say, I want something glowing, like a laser or magical energy or the thrust of a rocket. I really had trouble, couldn't really do that too well to my satisfaction at least, in analog. But in digital, the way it does things, I can pull off techniques that I've always wanted to do that weren't simply limited by my lack of skill. They were simply limited by my lack of tools that can pull it off. Nowadays, you can. Computer coloring is such a great advancement in coloring. I also use different tools for making logos for various articles and comics that I use than the one that I use for actual drawing, just because it has features that makes it easier to make the logos to do certain things that I want without having to fight as much. But between the two of them, I've learned different skills as to how those work. So, yeah, I mean, so obviously with the problems on the webcam, what's on my mind right now is tools and getting them to work. Now I gotta figure out how to get this thing to work. It's annoying. So, yeah, that's what's on my mind right now. Well, at least I'm in a better shape than I was when I recorded the last video. Still, if you want to check out people taking part in the Art Soundoff challenge who are having a better day than I am, be sure to go to Twitter and look up for the hashtag Art Soundoff or the Twitter page at Art Soundoff. If you like to join in with us, then check out artsoundoff.com. And if you want to see more of the stuff that I'm doing when I'm not pulling my hair out, and my hair grows really fast and really thick, so there's a lot of it to come out. I could use a haircut, actually. Then be sure to check out bwspotlight.com. Until then, I wish you all happier creating than I've had today.